All right, welcome all to our Wake Up ESA movement. And every day in every way, we continue awakening the new you. Yeah, as part of this Energile early bird, the deep dive sessions. And we are just, getting started for another day. Yeah, we have a very big mission, to build a new leadership for the new era and to build the lifestyle of a healthy, happy, healthy, wealthy, harmonious abundance and the freedom lifestyle in all areas of our life. Yeah, but by living the code of honor with 100% ownership, 100% responsibility, and 100% commitment, and being a self-reliant leader, being a committed leader, being a committed decision making ability to take inspired action with the brave thinking and the possibility thinking. Yeah, being completely resourceful and looking at and respecting each other resources around us and living the mutual accountability. Yeah, and today we are going to have a beautiful another awakening book breakthrough session. So we have Ashok. Thank you so much, Ashok. Ashok has been doing, I think this is his he has done multiple book breakthrough in the past, and every book title he brings in is amazing. And today another with another book, Ashok is ready to rock and shine. And let's all take the notes and the journal, and also just share with your accountability groups as well as common group that you are here with the jumping out of joy. Yes, Ashok, rock and shine. Yeah, you can introduce the book as well as the author, and yeah, you're all ready with all the years.
Thanks, Mahendra. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, okay, we start the presentation. Okay. So this book is about the Millionaire Fastlane. So the author is MJ DeMarco. So about the author, MJ DeMarco is he started a limousine sort of a rental company. But he used to work for a limousine as a driver when he was 26 years old, 24, 25 years. Yeah, when he was in 26 years old after his college. So he used to live in his parents' basement, and he used to run this limousine. So when he was running this limousine, he had an opportunity. If we look at most of the people like Bob Proctor or him or Joe Vitale or any of them, so or even Steve, yeah. So even Anthony Robbins or anyone. So pretty much what we see in common is they all spend a lot of time reading self-help books. So during his limousine time, so whenever he has to pick up people, drop them, he had a lot of time in between. So he maximized his time reading books. So that's what changed his perspective. So he went through a lot of hardships when he was just doing, but being in a limousine company, working for a limousine company, he got to see how the rich people, their thinking and how they used to spend their time. So he saw a big difference. For example, our traditional method, okay, fine, go to school, graduate in a good degree, get good grades, get a good job, save 10%, invest in stock market, maximize your 401k, slash your, don't have credit card debt, clip coupons, save money, and then someday 65 years old, or then, you'll be rich. So that is what our parental, our parents followed this. Probably here in US parents probably. So that is the same mindset I think some of us also have. So he calls it as a slow lane millionaire. So there's a fast lane millionaire and there's a slow lane millionaire. So this is what a slow lane millionaire does. So if you want to increase your money, you want to increase your whatever the income you're making. Okay, instead of okay, do some certifications, learn some new skills, and again keep doing the same thing. So he makes this as contrasting between slow lane millionaires and fast lane millionaires. And when he looked at the fast lane millionaires, he was thinking they're all at their 65 or 5th or later part of their age. That's what we are told. Okay, save this time in your golden age. You'll enjoy. You can go on vacations. You can have a wonderful time. You'll be rich. So till that time, keep saving, keep doing this. Whatever this quote says. I think that has been pretty ingrained in our parental thing. Even, that's what I remember my parents and even my uncles telling that. So, and then what he does is one of the people he drops, he asks, okay, so he runs this limousine thing in Chicago. So his plan was to go to New York City, and he wanted to rent a limo there. So he asks, he says, okay, what shall I do if I want to rent a limo? Back in those days, it was only yellow pages. There was no, there was no internet. Then there was internet, but not to this extent in 1980s, 1990s. So that also gave him an idea. Oh yeah, let me start something regarding putting all limousine companies together, and so that a customer can just go to this website. If he's going to Phoenix, Arizona, he can just go to the website, book his limo, and if he's flying there from somewhere else, Miami, okay, and so that was the idea which got seeded when one of the customers asked for it. So, and also he was a big into Lamborghini and all those things. He was thinking a Lambo cannot be, to buy a Lamb. So most of the people think it's impossible. So he was really fascinated when he was like in 20s or 16 or 18-year-old. When he was 18-year-old, so he goes and approaches someone who has a Lamborghini. He thought, okay, so this is some old person, or probably his parents have given the Lambo or whatever. And then when he reaches out to him, he says, if you mind, can you tell me what do you do for a living? And he said he's an inventor. That is also another seed which gets planted in him, and that is what is the fruitation. So he starts his limo company, and then he sells it. He sells his limousine, his online company during the .com time for like I think 2-3 million or something of that sort, and just before the crash. So he sells it at the peak when all the .com companies were all 200 multiples or 300 multiples or something of the sort. And when he sells it, the company starts spending a lot, and it's pretty much was about to go bankrupt. So at that time, he goes back and buys back the company for $250,000. So he sells it for like 3-4 million, and then he buys back the company for $250,000 again. The same company, because the company wasn't run properly. They were spending a lot, had a lot of MBA graduates who were not adding value to it, and he definitely makes a lot of fun with MBA, because he says, okay, for adding intrinsic value, you go get an MBA degree, but Fastlane Millionaire, he hires MBA degrees. He doesn't, he looks at the important thing, what makes a difference, and that's where he looks into. So he, okay, and then he goes back. Okay, and since it was poorly run and spending a lot of money in so many extra things, he takes the company back, and then he slashes all the extra expenses, optimize it. He makes processes run better, and then he again makes it into a much bigger asset value, and then he sells it back. So that is a part of the thing. And then he writes this book called The Millionaire Fastlane to help others. Oh, okay. Now going back to okay, and he also talks about something called sidewalk. Okay, sidewalk is a person who has no goals, no direction. Okay, and he has no control over himself. So if he feels like doing this, he'll go it. Okay, if you want, this is what do you say? What kind of a mind is this? I think he a person who listens to the monkey mind. Okay, let me go eat an ice cream. Goes eats an ice cream. Okay, let me go buy this. Oh, I like this. Let me. Oh, I like Tesla. Okay, let me go buy a Tesla. Okay, let me do this. Let me buy a Mercedes S class. So he just keeps buying and buying, and his whatever he is making, he spends more than that. So that is a sidewalker. So he has no direction. He's aimless, and he's buying lottery. So these are the two things. He says debt and being fat is a sidewalker, because debt, because he's maxing up his credit card, taking unnecessary loan, just to show that he's a rich person. Just to show that he's a rich person, he does all kinds of things, buying fancy clothes, buying fancy, hosting awesome parties. So spending more than what he really makes, just to show a facade. Okay. They also end up buying batteries, lotteries, and all those things. It's not only we assume sidewalker is a poor person. No, not really. So even some of the rap stars, some of the sportsmen, okay, even though they got a 56 million or 60 million, whatever the contract, they still go blow it up. So they have this mentality. So I think in the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, he talks about that too. Yeah. Because you have a thermostat. That's what he's what is his name? Harvicker talks about this. Yeah, you have a thermostat. If you have a thermostat which has a billion, if your thermostat is okay, let's see what's the thermostat. Thermostat is 75. If we set the thermostat for 75 degrees, if it becomes very cold, the heater kicks in and gets the temperature back to 75. If it is too hot, if it goes to 80, the thermostat, the AC kicks in and brings it down to 75 degrees. So that is our thermostat. Each person has a specific thermostat value. So for some person, it could be in hundreds, and for some people, it could be in thousands. For some people, it could be in millions, or some people, it could be in billions. For example, for Donald Trump, it was in billions. So when he had billions, and when he lost it all, and his thermostat kicked in, and he again became a millionaire. That is his mind, So, okay, coming back to this. So lottery winners. So when their thermostat is in hundreds of thousands, when they get millions, so what happens is they can't hold it. Pretty much they spend it all. They either lose it, spend it, they do something, and they are finally back to what they were a couple of years ago. So they blew it up in 6, 7, 8 years. Most of the lottery winners, if you look at it, they are all back to what they were, 7, 8 years before. Okay, sidewalk. He also talks about mindset. Okay, here he talks about credit allows you to buy things, what I want, when I want, blah, blah, blah. Time perception, there's no enough time, so might as well as enjoy and be happy now. So some of the millennials, some of the Z generation is also of that kind. Okay, let me enjoy. My parents used to work hard, Okay, but so there are certain points which you will see overlapping with certain generations. If you have money, flaunt it, show that you're rich. Whatever pays the most, you will chase. Primary wealth accelerator is luck, so they buy lottery and these kind of things. So they give a perception that they have. So they have fancy clothes, fancy cars, live in a fancy house. Even though they make a less, they have a perception of showing that they are wealthy. I live for today, I'm not bothered about tomorrow. Okay, indulges in victim mentality. Life is too short. So okay, now coming back to the slow lane millionaire, slow lane roadmap. Okay, so all this roadmap is taking us from where we are to showing us, okay, becoming financially freedom. Okay, so that is the end result for most of it. Whereas the slow lane person and the fast lane person has this destination. The sidewalk person is aimless. Okay, there's nothing much we can talk about because there is no financial freedom in his case, in he or she's case. Okay. Okay, so we come up with this mentality. Okay, having a loan is debt. Finish, pay off your mortgage. Don't debt is really bad. And always we think, okay, the longer you work, the more money you make. So time perception. Okay, so we are not. So what happens? And also the intrinsic value. Okay, what's the current intrinsic value? Okay, I'm a web developer. Okay, this is my intrinsic value. Okay, I'm a HR person. This is my intrinsic value. Okay, I'm into sales and marketing, and this is my intrinsic value. So in order to increase my intrinsic value, okay, I need to get this certification. I need to get this degree. I need to get an MBA degree. I need to get this master's in data science or whatever. So okay, by doing this, I changed my intrinsic value from whatever $100 to $200. So all we are trying to do is time. We are paid based on the time, and we are paid based on our intrinsic value. So what happens? The slow lane millionaire is all for, and also he talks also about the PMB certifications. Get your this one. So okay, so we are all associated with time. So either it's an annual salary, and if we do very, very well, we go to our manager, we ask, okay, give me 3%, 5%, increment. So there is no way of increasing our, our net income our yearly income from this to something else. For like, we can't see, there is no way it can go from 100% to 200% or 300%. Whereas in the Fastlane millionaire, that's what he can do, because he can leverage certain things, and he can exponentially change his thing, and that is where he can get into the fast, becoming a financially free and being rich is much easier for a Fastlane. Okay. So also, yeah, so we have all this parental generation, each and every dollar must be accounted for, money is scarce, save the money, primary sources income, compound interest. We always think compound interest is how we can make our money. Okay, so the compound interest is a pretty unique thing, because the slow lane millionaire also looks into it, and also fast lane millionaire also looks into it. But the way we approach compound interest is different. The way the fast lane millionaire approaches compound interest is different. Okay, so we all look into savings, investments, 401k, Roth IRA, blah blah blah. Okay, and comfortable retirement in the 12 years. that's how a slow lane millionaire looks at. Okay, if I work hard for the next 40 years, save this much of money, put this much 10% into my 401k, max my 401k, put 10% into my savings, and with 10%, 8% returns on the stock market, by this and this, in 12 years, I can live comfortably and happily. That's But whereas he and the fast lane millionaire were looking at, okay, how can I be rich doing what I love, and how can I enjoy the life now in the next 8-10 years rather than 40 years of doing the same thing. Okay, so he works to provide for the family on relying on employer, government. So, and he also talks about all the things, for example, pandemic comes, you lose the job, something changes, the stock market get a crash and it loses 50%, you lose most of the value. And he also makes a lot of fun about mutual funds. But the thing which he is focusing is all about entrepreneurship. So, and he comes up with us, like, so how we calculate wealth. For example, wealth is equal to primary income source, job plus wealth accelerator plus market investments, blah, 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 minus debt. Okay. So that's how a slow lane person thinks about who mindlessly trade the life for a paycheck. Okay, now coming back to the one which he is proposing, which is the Fastlane roadmap. The Fastlane, okay, so if he talks about depth. Depth is useful as I think I missed out a few more things on the slow lane. Okay, another thing which he talks about the slow lane millionaire is the whole system is making us do this. If you look at all the famous people like Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, Robert E. I don't think Robert E. Kiyosaki. Okay, so Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, all those things, they all preach the same thing. Maximize your 401k, do this, slash your credit card, pay off your mortgage, blah blah blah. So, but he tells whatever they are preaching, they are not doing the same thing. If you look at their wealth creation, Susie Orman got 25 million from her book publications and presentation and so many other things. And she put 25 million into some of this, she put them into wealth accelerator, like stocks and everything. So the compounding, he says, for example, if we start with 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, and if you're trying to compound, it's going to be of very less value. So he says, don't think about compounding that much. The rich people, what they do is, instead of compounding, 10,000 or 100,000, they put like 5 million and 10 million. So to get 10 million, they're not looking at the stock market as their approach. They look at entrepreneurship, looking at different strategies. Like, I'm sure we all talked about, I think, rental systems and this and what is it? Having intellectual properties, having your own books, having your own content on the YouTube, having some of the proprietary patents, having your own patents and those kind of things. So that's how they build up their wealth to 10 million, and they use this vehicle like stock market for preservation and for for compounding. So he talks about, for example, if you are a Fastlane millionaire and if you put 10 million into the stock market or whatever, and if he makes 10%, it is like $1 million every year. If you imagine same thing, if you have 100,000 and if you get 10%, it is like 10,000. So it's not a whole lot of money. So they start with a bigger bucket and they increase it. So if we start with a smaller bucket, by the time it becomes big, accumulation, it will take 40 years. That's how the slow lane and the fast lane differences come into picture. Okay. So coming back to the fast lane, so time perception. So interesting thing is, he talks about the time. Here, the slow lane millionaire, he works, puts in time, and makes money. Here, the time works for him, a different approach. So if you look at it, when he was sick, so he started this, company, and he used to go on vacations. Okay. He used to go on vacations, he used to have fun. Even though he was on vacations, his money was working for him. His money was literally, money was just coming into his account. That's pretty much. People were renting limousines, and still whatever the thing he was getting paid, he was getting paid. He was sick, he had some accident, he had something. For 2 months he was bedridden. Even when he was bedridden, money was just flowing into his account. So that is money work. Okay, time working. Okay, money working on itself. Okay, so that's what I mean to say. Okay, uh, money perception. Okay, so their primary income source is business, systems, and investments. So they create processes. So they don't think as being the millionaire as their end result. They think as a process. The process of okay, how do I so. And he also talks about one more thing. One is being a consumer, one is being a producer. A contrasting thing. A consumer just goes, buys all the things, whatever he likes. He says be a producer. Having a producer mindset is, okay, when you go to a McDonald's or if you go to any place, the producer mindset keeps thinking, okay, this part, oh yeah, I like this one. And the way they have done this process is in McDonald's. Let me see if I can do the same thing for my business. I have this Fastlane, let me do that. Or something else. They are always looking into terms of optimizing, coming up with new systems, coming up with new processes, and making it a system and then selling it off, or making the other people pay for it. That's in the nutshell. I think that's what most of these businesses are. They provide value. So, and he also talks about the more the value you provide, the more the money you make. If you make an impact for thousands, for millions of people, you get paid in millions. And if you impact only few people, and then you're paid less, unless until it is. It's like if you're selling Lamborghini, it's a different thing. So primary wealth accelerator, making something out of nothing. So the thing doesn't exist, so they're trying to make something. That is their primary thing. The processes didn't exist. They create a new process. They see something which can be improved. They improve that thing or that product. Builds business systems for cash flow and asset valuation. Okay, lifetime of passive income. Life is what you make of it. Okay, so if you look at it, the slow lane millionaire doesn't do certain dreams. Okay, let me go buy a Lambo. No, okay, sorry, Lambo is not for me. But whereas a fast lane millionaire, okay, I'm producing this, and this is all the money I'm getting. This is what the money is coming. I can go buy a Lambo. So whatever he buys, for example, MJ DeMarco, he pays it in cash. So if he wants to buy a $10 million house, he goes, buys the best $10 million house in cash with no debt. So yeah, but that goes against the thing. So if he says, if you have to think about it, for example, if I had to think about it, hey, can I afford this car? Then most likely you don't. That's not the one you should be buying. If anytime a thought comes, okay, can I afford this thing? Can I afford that? Then probably no, you're not in a position to buy that thing. You're either taking it in debt, or probably making it close to you're basically your income source, basically. So here the wealth is measured as net profit and asset value. So, and asset value is net profit times industry multiplier. The industry multiplier is nothing but the PE value. So so here in this book, he also comes up with a system. Okay, here he comes up with a system. Okay, so in the system, he talks about certain things like, okay, if you have a rental system like real estate, what is the PE value? If you have a computer system or a computer program, what is the PE value? If you have a medical equipment, what is the PE value? So even though you are making $1 million in this business, and if your PE is like 17 or 15, automatically when you sell your company, you get 15 times what you're already producing. So that part, I don't think that's what the Fastlane millionaires or Fastlane road people they look into. He also has a PE value for human resource system, distribution systems, and all that. So distribution systems are like, for example, Amazon, Apple platform, Google platform. So where in Apple platform, you can sell your apps. You create an app, and you're dependent on the Apple platform for for reaching out to the masses and also getting paid through Apple ecosystem. Same thing with Amazon. If you have a book, if you have a product, you can do the same thing. In Google, I'm sure there are a lot of apps you can build for the Google Doc, Google Docs, and a lot of other things. Okay. So that is one thing, which is distribution system. Other one is computer systems. You can build programs like the processes. Okay, if this process can be done better, we look into that and look at the process. Content systems. So this is like, if you have a YouTube channel, or if you have books, if you have blogs, if you have podcasts, all those things are content systems. So you create contents and you deliver it through this distribution systems. So for this content system, you have to be constantly producing, coming up with ideas, so that you keep generating revenue out of it. Real estate. Real estate is also, having a public storage. But one thing he is against is having a lot of human resources. So human resources having. So he also thinks about MJ DeMarco. He also thinks about buying a vacant plot near the airport for converting that into a parking lot. But when he looks into it, and he thinks about buying it, but afterwards he does something called weighted average decision making. Okay. And in this weighted average decision making, he figures out that the cost of human capital is a lot, and that is going to be a burdensome for him. So he's always looking at systems which are easier, like internet-based systems. So when he looked at it, so he needed at least 12 to 24 people to manage it, to maintain that airport parking with shuttle buses and drivers and ticketing and all those things. And also, so for example, in public storage, if you have a public storage, you can automate to the most part, so you don't need a whole lot of human resources in public. That's what he talks about. For example, if you have a public system, you can automate it so that it's all, scanner based. So and also you can have security cameras all over the place. Only those authorized people are only allowed into the public storage, and everything is being monitored. And doing those automation would save a lot of human resources, and that saves a lot of money. What else? Okay, again, this is all the distinction what he provides about slow lane and fast lane. Okay, slow lane millionaire makes millions in 30 years. Fast lane millionaire makes millions in 10 years or less, because but he says for slow lane millionaire works 9 to 5 jobs for 30 years. Fast lane millionaire, to become that, he says he works 7 days a week, 24/7, or not 24/7. Yeah, 7 days a week, initial first 7-8 years or 10 years. Slow lane millionaires need to live in middle class. Fast lane luxury estates, blah blah blah. Slow lane millionaires have MBAs. Fast lane we hire people with MBAs. Slow lane millionaires have asset market forces. Okay, that's like stock market and this and pandemic and blah blah blah. Okay. Fast lane millionaires control their assets and possess the power to manipulate their value, because they know their PE, and they can increase their PE and increase the number of people they can reach out to, do a lot more marketing, sell a lot more things, and increase it exponentially. Slow lane, okay, they can't afford exotic cars, they can afford. Slow lane millionaires work for the time, fast lane millionaires time working for them. Slow lane millionaires are employees, fast lane are employers. Slow lane millionaires have 401k, fast lane offer 401ks. And And he also talks about mutual funds, yeah, basically, and stock market to get rich. They even Fastlane millionaires also use that as a vehicle, but only thing as an accelerator or prevention or preservation of their capital. So that's the main difference. Slow-lane millionaires let other people control their income streams. Fastlane millionaires control their income stream. Okay. So that's the main distinctions. These are the systems. And he talks about commandments now. Okay, he comes up with 5 commandments. Commandments of need. If see, the business has to satisfy certain needs, or else no matter what you do, it's of no use. So the need is, as long as you can impact and people need the product, people need your services, that's only when you can make an impact. And when you can impact in tens or hundreds or thousands of millions, that's where it comes in picture. Okay, entry. So in a barrier of entry. Okay, if there is a low end, okay, nowadays I think some businesses have lower entry barriers and some have higher entry barriers. So the ones with higher entry barriers are the most preferred ones, because that's where you can supply and demand, comparison sort of a thing. If you have more supply of services, then I don't think you're going to get a whole lot. If there is a more demand and very less suppliers or producers, then you get paid with the highest. Commandment of control. So how is that, how well you can control it, or are you dependent on someone else? Commandment of control is, for example, if you have, he talks about Amazon and Apple thing ecosystem. For example, if for some reason, if Amazon comes up with rules saying that, okay, this is not allowed and we can't accept these products, then your products are gone out of Amazon's ecosystem. So you don't have control of that. So that is one more thing which a Fastlane millionaire also looks into. How much they are dependent on an ecosystem, or how much they are dependent on some entity on their business, and how much of impact that can have. Commandment of scale. Here he talks about, if you have one hot dog shop, how much of money you can make. And if you have 1,000 hot dog shops, and if you're selling hundreds of hot dogs, or probably tens or hundreds of hot dogs in a day, how much money you can make, and that sort of a comparison. How much it can be scalable. Internet-based systems are scalable. Some are not scalable. Some are highly scalable. And how much of time. So when you're detached from your business, is it still making money for you? Like in this case, even though he was sick for 2 weeks, the money just kept on pouring into his account, because he had already created processes and systems, and everything was going. Okay, I think the same things. Need for entry, control, scale, time. So this is all the things what the book talks about. And I think it's a wonderful book, I would say, because it changes certain perspective. I can see a lot of things what I was doing as my thinking as a sidewalker, or my thinking as a slow lane, or my thinking some of it as a fast lane. So it changes the perspective and gives a different perspective.
Wow, Ashok, great, very unique and different book, and bringing various perspectives.
Yes.
Yeah, especially the concepts, the way he put together with respect to the slow lane, fast lane, and sidewalk. So we'll know, at least we were always told that, as we used to discuss in our coaching sessions also, we have always been taught that, okay, yeah, study hard, work hard, keep on paying bills, and one day leave the world.
Yep.
And it's a kind of traditional, I won't call that word traditional, also like the slow lane and the fast lane. It's amazing, the way of, looking at it and the kind of larger spectrum of, what are the other areas like this 5 fast lane commandments you mentioned about, and where we can really scale up, where we can go faster. I think your first slide itself was kind of an awakening. Yeah, just do this, and then, one day you will become rich, and that one day would be when you're 65. Yeah. Nice. I think, there are many games, as you also mentioned in the summary. The slow lane is a loser's game, and the fast lane is about building the asset. And fast lane is also about, just to take care of, making the decisions and, going through the kind of sacrifice, but still, like, how we can really, I think there might be one lane, which I'm just thinking about, the smart lane, huh? Reading through all these and processing through. Yeah, we need to find the smart way of doing it.
Yeah. So, and also I forgot one thing. So he talks about million, isn't it? Nowadays, a million is it's not really a million. 20, 30 years ago, a million was a lot of money, but now a million is not a million. So now he says you need to have at least 5 million to feed like a million. And to be really rich, you need to have at least 10 million. That is when you're truly rich. That's what he talks about. And also he talks about good money, big money, and legendary money. Good money is something in if you make 10,000 or 8,000 a month, and big money is if you make 20,000 or 40,000 or something a month. And probably legendary money is what he talks about. Those rich people who make million in a month. Those are the legendary money.
Yeah, beautiful. I really love the sentence also you put together. That's so true. Like, the millionaire in debt or millionaire in the making, as a total different meaning. That's so right. Even in India, people used to call us Lakshadipati, Crorepati. The definitions are completely changing, for the upcoming generation or even for the current generation. So true.
Yep.
And wealth is not about money. We used to say here, like, wealth is an access. I mean, money is an access to the wealth. Yeah, wealth is not only about money. True wealth is about having the freedom to do whatever you want, when you want, with whom you want. Money is just a tool that can help you to achieve that freedom. That's so beautifully said. Thank you. Yeah, I'll just open the floor to the, open it for the Q&A and, sharing the feedback, feed forward. Yeah, anybody can unmute and speak. Yeah.
All right, this is Aliyar. Hi, Ashok. Thank you for a fantastic presentation about the work life versus entrepreneur's mindset, right? So that's what I translate that from your slow lane to the fast lane. It's amazing. For somehow every time I heard this, it feels a little give me a little bit of how do I feel it? How do I say that? I wish we can pass this on to our kids. Sometimes it's a little bit of a tiny bit of a late in the game for me, but it's never too late to be an entrepreneur, because I've seen you took the example of the McDonald's, when you go with the producer mindset instead of the typical consumer mindset, right? Hey, what am I going to have? Coffee or a sandwich or a nuggets or whatnot? So I felt like sharing my example here. When an entrepreneur visited my home, my wife offered him some roasted nuts. She made a very nice desi style masala nuts, and he quickly said, "Why don't you come out with a business model instead of eating the nuts?" So that is the quickest example I could say, with the producer's mindset than the consumer mindset. Yeah, well, beautiful, great presentation, Ashok. I hope to watch it again and get more detail, because I was also parallelly watching the Chandrayaan launch and coverage. But I got the essence of it, and I would love to watch it one more time. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thanks, Elliot. Yeah, I think it was an eye opener to me. That's the reason. So I used to see this book show up in YouTube. So many other people talking about it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is something.
Yeah, the good old saying is that either you chase your dream or someone will use you to chase their dream, and the second is what the employment is about.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, very well said, Elliot. Yeah, I think you brought all the things together. Yep.
Lovely, Alia. Thank you. Definitely, we all need to have that satellite of Chandrayaan within us too. Good.
Yeah, just be in the right orbit.
Oh yeah, he talks about that too, the trajectory. Oh yeah, I missed out that thing. Trajectory, earlier age, whatever the trajectory you can change. He talks about the golf ball. As soon as you swing, if there's a small deviation from its path, it's the golf ball reaches totally out of place. So any small trajectory change, if you do at the earlier stage, makes a big impact. Then in the later stage, yeah. That's what I keep telling to my kids. Make your decisions good. Each one has a big trajectory for your in your life. Yeah, even at the later stage we can change, but the impact is going to be less. That's what he said. That's what he meant. Just like Chandrayaan, yeah, and the trajectory of their.
And then the word you mentioned the word because I'm sorry, but I'm not the one. I just don't want to take all their time because no one else. There is a little bit of a silence. That's why I'm adding a little bit more to that. You talked about the debt, right? Because in financial term, there is something called a good debt and a bad debt. So not all debt are bad. Some debt make you wealthy, some debt make you really rich, and some make you poor.
Yeah.
So we have that smartness.
Yep. I think he's mainly slow laner. He gets debt for fancy cars and $1 million mansions and few things which he cannot afford, so that slow lane person. Oh no, not slow lane, sorry, sidewalker does. The slow lane person, he would be very cautious and okay, this is what I'm gonna buy and this is how I'm gonna pay it off, this is how much I'll be saving, and that's all. Yep. Whereas a fast lane or a fast lane will be looking as how do I use this debt to to leverage it and make it even more. Buying businesses and systems and processes, patents and all those.
Great. Yeah. There's a reason in a way we call it as a book breakthrough, right? So what could be one breakthrough if maybe each of you can just share that, there's some sort of takeaway from here, or it has completely changed the perspective of, looking at it. Yeah. Yes, Kasturi.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok, for this particular thing. As we are becoming older, we are aware of this particular concept, right? But still, how to start a business or those things. And yesterday, what Mahendran was saying, and he's keep on saying that multiple sources of income we can try. So he's also trying to put us in the fast lane, I believe. So we will try. We'll try. We cannot say that trying, Mahendran. We will initiate or we will do some different planning for becoming a fast lane millionaire. Okay, Ashok, we'll do. Thank you.
Thanks, Kasturi. Yeah. Yeah. I was looking into one more video somewhere. I think he tells, I think if we sacrifice 3 or 4 years of our life doing nothing but just focusing on building the system processes and whatever the thing is, and then this 3 years or 4 years of hard work or total sacrifice towards it would let you enjoy for the remaining 30-40 years of your life. So
actually, one of one of my friend's daughter, when she was in 9th or 10th, that she usually participate continuously in this hackathon. Whatever the competition comes, she will be participating. I was
Oh, sorry.
wondering
I
why
think
she,
voice is
but the parents,
breaking.
they never hesitate to pay any money that she wanted for flying or just in the joining the competition or anything. But she got into Stanford. After that, I lost touch. Then one day we were meeting, and I was asking, hello.
Yeah, I think you're breaking up, Kasturi.
Is it okay now? Am I audible?
Yeah, now it is better. Yep.
Oh, okay. No, that's what I was telling. Actually, that girl, she took a break, it seems, from Stanford first year itself. I was asking why she's taking break. That's the first time I'm hearing. From college, you can take a break also. So then she was saying she was doing something like a LinkedIn app, and she sold it for 5 million, it seems. The girl, just a first year student, okay? And she went to success party for somewhere in Italy or somewhere. And then I was wondering, oh, is it possible even? Just a 18, 19 years old girl having a $5 million actually, right? And again, she just started something else, and she's doing that also. She's doing very well, it seems. So this whatever you said, as earlier was asking, we should first talk to our kids like this. Anyway, we are already in the slow lane. Our kids can be educated for being in the fast lane, I believe, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
This
Thanks,
also
Kasturi.
reminds being to Disney World and other places like a Universal Studio where you have the fast pass.
Yeah.
On the toll road, where you need to pay a little bit, but you reach faster.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a bit of in my observation, there is a bit of what do you call a secret, tiny bit of a secret that we the entrepreneur mindset itself is a tiny bit of a secret shared between the I would say, the entrepreneurial mindset. Basically, like, if it doesn't exist in our family, if it doesn't exist in the society, if it doesn't exist where we live around, the spark may not happen, unless there is, a lot of push, the if we are able to pass it on to our kids, that mindset, our generation can pick it up. Just connecting the dots is all it takes. For example, even buying a home in this country as an investment, no one ever told me for many years, until I met the realtor who happened to be my friend. And when I trusted him, then I quickly realized what he was saying. It just takes a tiny bit of a connection from the trusted source, and people can get it right. I did not get that entrepreneurial mindset at an younger age. I wish I had met someone, or I got the gist of what an entrepreneurship means. So that is what I'm trying to convey to my children, and let them pick up at an younger age, so they don't sell themselves to an employer.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. This is one topic. We'll have more deeper dive in future also. But I'm super happy that it's igniting into those expanded mind. Yeah, big kudos to Ashok. Let's also hear from Chins. Would you like to add anything? or Chins or Karthik or Anadrai. Chinnasamy, are you maybe busy? Okay. And as the summary, you put it together beautifully at the last statement. So if you're willing to put the work, the Fastlane can help you achieve true wealth and financial freedom. The ultimate thing is the last two words, right? Financial freedom.
Yeah. I think nowadays, there is more things available to take this Fastlane, because I hear a lot of other things, like people build apps, and like, what Kasturi said, someone she knew who built app, something plugin or something for LinkedIn. The same thing can be done in Google Docs and Apple. There are so many channels and venues available to come into this Fastlane nowadays, compared to earlier. I would assume that. And with more innovation and so many things happening, I think there would be even more Fastlane millionaires, even now and even going forward.
Yes, for sure. So saying like I'm just drafting a book titled Minimalist Millionaire. Now, how we can be a minimalist at the same time, being a millionaire. Yeah, and there are a lot of mindset related blocks for people that way to become rich. What is there in becoming rich? I think like Aliyar mentions, and the sooner we get that the realization about getting the freedom, especially for our kids, the better. Yeah, otherwise in the world of capitalism and consumerism, we should not get lost. And the ultimate thing is, whether your string is with someone or whether you are able to fly on your own. It's all up to us, and how we can get that freedom sooner.
And Mahendran, by all fairness, thinking from the slow lane side, maybe or employee perspective of becoming a wealthy person, it's not easy, right? It's not easy to switch from an employee to an entrepreneur or fast laner. It takes a lot of pain, challenges, fear breaking. It's completely different orbit. If I have to think it from a Chandrayaan, it's not easy to switch from one orbit to another, because we need the basics covered. We have to take care of the bills, and those daunting, scary things is what occupies our mind. Don't you agree that?
Yep. And that's why I was just bringing the smart lane. Wherever we are, and we need to definitely get that awareness, because when that awareness changes, for example, I have also seen people who are in fast lane, but not really giving the family time, not able to take care of their health, and their seeking is on. So you might have seen that in a picture, right? The time what we have, and maybe the efforts what we put, and then the money. And many times people just earn money, but by the time they become old, or a kind of they will not be even able to experience or enjoy that freedom what that money could bring in. And even the generational wealth, we talk about generational wealth, but it's completely changing, right? So, and do we really need to make our upcoming generation very lazy? Can't they be on their own? Yeah. So there are a lot of questions around it, right? So
yeah, the generational wealth is a slightly different story, because the skill is not passed on to the generation, or the second generation or third generation does not pick up, and it's bound to go back down, and until another entrepreneur mindset come back again. I think that's what happens, right? We see them in we see them in our in our community. Many things like the business do so well, but then here comes the son or the grandson, and they wipe out all the thing because they don't keep up the momentum.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think the book also has that summary that wealth is not just about the money. Yeah. Very well said earlier. We need to even bring that spirit. Yeah. I think we have seen that, few millionaires, especially, in I don't know which movie. I watched a movie where the richest person, he will just send his son or daughter without paying money or anything, and they have to manage on their own. They have to survive for 6 months to 1 year, without mentioning where they are from, and without mentioning about his or her wealth. Then we'll be learning so much about life. I think we need to really rethink about money or the wealth. That's why this entire month we are saying on the mindset around wealth. So how we can really change the perspective, how we are really boundless, limitless, how we can still be grounded and make the best of the best. All right. I think unless anybody else has anything to say, I think we can conclude with Ashok's any other summary point. Yeah, Chin says that I'm digesting the presentation. Thank you. And Puru also mentioned, thanks a lot for the wonderful share. We'll definitely take time to read. Good. You're definitely inspired through this book. Ashok, keep up the great work, and I'm looking forward to your next upcoming book breakthrough.
Yeah, thanks, Mahendra. Thanks, Puru.
Yeah. Any other conclusion note from you or anybody else? All right, let's all aim for the freedom life. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Until see you again. Chin up, cheer up, and keep shining. Take care. Keep taking massive inspired action, friends, for the massive results.